In this story, there is a magical table, and whatever is spoken in front of it turns into food. Along with it, there is also a donkey that poops gold coins. And there is a magical stick too, which beats liars on their heads until they turn red. The story begins in a village in Europe, where a carpenter named Michael lives. He has 3 sons. The eldest son's name was Cudgel, the second's name was Emil, and the youngest name is Max. Max was very hardworking, but he also had a little mischief in him. Because of this, he often spoiled things. In their neighborhood, there lived a girl named Lena, who loved Max deeply and always wanted to be by his side. In Max's house, there was also a pet goat, which was extremely cunning. It would deliberately knock over the milk bucket with its feet and put all the blame on Max. One day, Cudgel and Emil left for the city in search of work. Seeing this, Max became sad because he too wanted to go out, learn something, and earn money. He spoke with his father Michael and said that he also wanted to learn a skill and earn money. But Michael, in anger, said that when you cannot even milk the goat properly, how will you manage outside? While he was grazing the goat, Lena came there and asked him if he hesitated to love her. Max replied that your mother does not like us being together and she does not want us to get married. Just then, Lena's mother arrived there and started taking Lena away with her. After Lena left, Max also returned home with his goat. On reaching home, his father Michael asked him if the goat had eaten properly. At that very moment, the goat spoke out that Max had not given it anything to eat and had brought it back without feeding it. Hearing this, Michael became very angry. Max tried to explain to his father that the goat was lying, but Michael told him that he was a useless boy. This argument hurt Max deeply, and that night he silently tried to leave the house in search of work. But while walking, he stumbled, and the noise woke Michael up. He asked Max why he was leaving the house like a thief. Max said that since you consider me a worthless man, I want to prove that I can go outside and do something good. Michael told him not to return until he had achieved something. Max nodded in agreement, and then he packed his belongings and left the house. Before leaving, he meets Lena and tells her that he is leaving for the city in search of work. He says to Lena that he will soon learn something in return, and until then, she should wait for him and be by his side in her heart. After this, he bids farewell to Lena and sets out toward his destination. He walks alone through the forest path when suddenly a little puppy comes to him. That puppy belonged to a blind man, but the blind man used to beat him a lot, so the puppy had run away from there. After that, Max and the puppy fall asleep under a tree. By morning, 3 robbers surround Max. They point guns at his head and try to snatch all his belongings. The robbers say that this forest belongs to us, and anyone who passes through here has to give all his possessions as tax. Max, frightened, says that he has nothing except some food. He tries to trick the robbers and escape, but then one of them catches his puppy. To save the puppy, Max is forced to give away all his belongings. After this, Max and the puppy move ahead empty-handed. Both of them suffer from hunger. While walking, they see a house where an old couple is eating. The puppy runs there and steals their cake, bringing it to Max. When the puppy brings the cake, Max explains to him that he should not steal. He takes the cake back to the old man, apologizing and saying that his puppy had stolen it out of hunger. Max begins to leave, but the old woman stops him. Smiling, she says that he is a good boy and that he can eat with them by their side. While eating, Max tells them that he has set out on a journey to learn work. The old woman asks him what kind of job he wants to do. Max replies that any kind of work which he can easily learn. Hearing this, she happily says that he can learn tailoring with them. Max, smiling, accepts this proposal. But the old man says that they cannot pay him wages because they are heavily in debt. They can only give him a place to stay and food to eat. In this way, a new chapter of Max's life begins, and he starts learning how to sew clothes. At first, he makes many mistakes. For example, he cannot properly put the thread through the needle, and sometimes his stitching turns out crooked. The old man tells his wife that Max is clumsy and will take a long time to learn the trade. On the other hand, his eldest brother Cudgel is learning carpentry. At the beginning, he too is very unskilled. When he makes his first chair, he makes its 4 legs of uneven length. Max's second brother Emil starts working in a flour mill. There he grinds flour, but at first he too cannot grind it well and makes it too coarse. His master scolds him, saying that the flour will only be proper when it becomes light as air. In this way, time keeps passing. Now we see Lena, whose mother is arranging her marriage with Johann, the son of a very wealthy man. She tries to emotionally blackmail her daughter and says that ever since her father's death, all the responsibilities of the house have been on her shoulders. So it would be better if she marries Johann. But Lena does not like Johann at all. She tells her mother that for marriage, mutual love is necessary. But her mother ignores Lena's words and fixes her marriage with Johann. Seeing all this, Lena becomes upset and angrily goes inside the house. Just then, her mother follows her and says that Johann's father is helping them a lot. Lena firmly says that she loves Max and will marry only him. Her mother replies that Max has already left the city and no one knows if he will ever return. Then angrily, she says that the marriage has now been fixed and Lena must marry Johann. Meanwhile, Max learns the tailoring trade very well. Now he could stitch every kind of clothing properly. One day he makes a different kind of dress, but the old man does not like it. At night, Max thinks that maybe he has wasted his time staying here, and now he should move on. The next day, Lena goes to Michael and asks him about Max. Michael says that he does not know when his 3 sons will return. He further says that now he regrets sending Max away because Max had not fed the goat. Then Lena says that the goat had eaten properly in front of her. Hearing this, Michael becomes very angry and throws the goat out of his house. On the other side, a wealthy merchant comes to the old tailor's house. Seeing him, the old woman becomes frightened because they had taken a large loan from the merchant, but now they had nothing left to give back. Nervously, she tells her husband to bring the stitched clothes. As soon as the merchant enters the house, he asks them to repay their debt, but the old woman says that it will take more time to repay. Hearing this, the merchant orders his men to go inside the house and take everything out. One of the men brings a wooden stick covered with cloth. The old man pleads with them not to take that stick, but the merchant keeps it with him. Just then, the old woman tells the merchant that maybe he needs clothes. She gives him the clothes that Max had made. When the merchant wears that dress, he feels very comfortable because the dress does not slip off due to his large belly. Happily, the merchant says that he will come again next week and that he wants 10 more such dresses. If they make 10 dresses for him, he will forgive all their debt. After this, the merchant returns all their belongings and leaves. Max and the tailor get to work together and prepare 10 new dresses in a week. When the merchant comes again, he says that everyone in the city loves these dresses and that people keep asking who the tailor is that made them. He further says that the dresses have become very popular and many customers will soon come to buy them. On the other side, Lena sees her mother talking to Johann and his father. She overhears their conversation and finds out that her mother has set the date for her wedding. In exchange, Johann's father gives her mother some gold coins. Seeing this, Lena becomes very sad and runs away from there. Meanwhile, the dresses made by Max become very popular, and they earn a good profit by selling them. In the meantime, Max's eldest brother Jokel also becomes a very skilled carpenter. His master tells him that now he can return to his home. While leaving, his master gives him a table. At first sight, the table looks ordinary, but it has a special feature. As soon as the name of any food item is spoken in front of it, that item immediately appears on the table by your side. Seeing this, Jokel becomes very happy and leaves with the table. Max's second brother, Emil, has also now learned to grind flour properly. His master also tells him that now he can go back home. Before leaving, his master gives him a donkey, which looks like a normal donkey, but its specialty is that instead of droppings, it poops gold coins. Emil too sets out for home with that donkey. After this, we see Max, who has now completely mastered tailoring. So, he also prepares to return home. Before he leaves, the old couple gives him some coins and also hands him a magical stick. They tell him that when you say, "Come out" to this stick, it will start beating the person who is committing injustice or telling lies. Max thanks them and then sets out toward his home as well. On the other side, Jokel stops at an inn with his magical table. The innkeeper, Andrea, is a fat and cunning woman who used to serve her customers rotten food and water mixed into the wine. Jokel goes to Andrea and asks for a room to spend the night. Andrea gives him a room in exchange for 4 coins, but when she asks Jokel if he wants food, he refuses. Hearing this makes Andrea a bit suspicious of him. When Jokul takes all his belongings to his room and sits in front of the magical table to make food, Andrea and her husband Peter see everything through a hole in the wall. As soon as Jokul falls asleep, Peter sneaks into his room and steals the magical table, replacing it with a fake one. Andrea is just about to try making food with the magical table when Emil also arrives at the inn and asks for a room. But he had forgotten to bring his coins, so he goes to the stable and starts taking coins out from his donkey. Andrea and Peter see this too, and they secretly switch his donkey as well. Meanwhile, when Max enters the forest, he once again runs into the same three robbers. They point guns at him and rob him of all his belongings. After this, they also try to snatch away his magical stick. At that moment, Max says, "Stick, come out of the bag." No sooner does he say this than the stick jumps out of the bag and begins to beat the three robbers mercilessly, driving them out of the forest. The next morning when Emil comes downstairs, he asks Peter and Andrea for breakfast. At the same time, Jokul also arrives at the inn. Both of them are very happy to see each other by their side. Jokul tells Emil that he will treat him to a grand breakfast. After this, the two of them go into the forest, and Jokul tries to make food with his magical table, but nothing comes out of it. Just then, Max also arrives there. He tells his two brothers that he has now become a tailor. When no food appears from the table, and the donkey begins to make filth instead of gold, Emil realizes that this is not his real donkey. Angrily, he says that Andrea and Peter must have switched his donkey. Jokul also says the same, that his magical table has been switched. Both brothers rush to the inn and demand their real belongings back, but Andrea and Peter are already prepared. They point guns at the brothers, so Jokul and Emil are forced to return empty-handed in disappointment. When they tell this to Max, he reassures them that they should just give him one night, and he will get all their belongings back. Max goes to the same inn and tells its owner Peter that he wants a room for the night and dinner as well. Meanwhile, Lena is not at all happy because her marriage has been fixed with Johann. She tells her mother that she does not accept this marriage. She also says that the bribe she has taken must be returned. But her mother replies that money is very much needed in order to survive. After dinner at the inn, Max sets a trap to fool Peter and Andrea. He tells them that he has something extremely valuable wrapped in this cloth, and he asks whether their inn is completely safe. Andrea assures him that he does not need to worry. No one will steal his belongings here. When Max pretends to sleep, Peter and Andrea quietly sneak into his room to steal his precious item. But just then, Max brings out his magical stick, and it begins to beat them both. The stick gives them a proper thrashing. Beaten and terrified, they are forced to return the real table and the donkey. Max takes them both back into the forest by his side. On the other hand, Lena, terrified of being forced to marry Johann, runs away from her house. After this, the three brothers, each with their belongings, return home, and their father Michael is overjoyed to see them. Inside the house, Max sees Lena, who had hidden there out of fear. Max proposes marriage to her, and Lena happily accepts his proposal. After this, Max also pays off all of Lena's mother's debts. I'm just a hardworking creator, trying my best, pouring my heart and soul into every video. If you found even a little bit of value or joy in my work, please consider subscribing to my channel. That one small subscription means the world to me and gives me the strength to keep creating. I'd be so grateful. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.